Welcome back, Bootstrappers. Today, we're diving in to the common pitfall of biting off more than you can chew. As I mentioned before in my reboot podcast, or not my reboot podcast, sorry, reboot episode, I attempted to tackle on too much all at once, which led to an overload that forced me to prioritize my family and work over my content creation. Now, it could have been very much worse. I've witnessed people losing their health and their families due to their unchecked ambition and going crazy, which is something I am determined to avoid. Now, personally, I've noticed that bootstrappers and entrepreneurs, they have this real strong tendency to do this, to bite off more than they can chew. They try multiple ideas all at once, and they tend to overload themselves. Now, quite honestly, the desire to pursue numerous ideas and to take on a lot of stuff is in our nature, and it's not necessarily a negative trait, as creating ideas and thinking on your feet are crucial. But there's the potential pitfall of becoming over-enthusiastic and taking on way too much. Now, since I use the metaphor biting off more than you can chew, I think that really illustrates this situation well. Now, if you pause for a second, now just close your eyes and imagine you've missed a full day's worth of food, maybe 2 days. Maybe you got too busy because you had a crazy life and you forgot to eat. So you've gone all day long, you haven't eaten anything yet, and you sit down to a nice big meal, and there's a lot of food there, and you're absolutely starving. Now just imagine this. And so you're so hungry, you take a huge bite of food because you're so hungry you want to take a big, huge bite. Now, the problem is if you try to take off too big of a bite, well, you're not able to chew it. Therefore, it actually slows you down in actually getting food into your system. It can cause you to not be able to get any nourishment, as I said, and it increases the risk of choking, and you can even die from this. If you take a huge bite, you can choke to death. That's not a good thing. Of course, if you imagine taking a big bite out of food, too big, that doesn't help. Take a smaller bite. Come back to that. Now, as for me, how did I find myself in the position of taking off such a huge bite? Well, first of all, when I took on an additional challenge of trying to create video content as well as audio content as a blog, I did not realize how much extra work that added to my already crazy workload. I was trying to juggle being a business owner, a content creator, a blogger, podcaster, and a video creator, being a husband and a father, and that caused a glaring work-life imbalance. So rather than neglecting the essentials, and my calculations were off, instead of neglecting the essentials like my wife and my kids, running my business, I tried to add on more, which really overloaded myself. Because I was doing marketing, sales, taxes, hiring, and the accounting. Oh my goodness, don't even get me started on accounting. But I took on so much stuff, and then when I added things like video editing, audio editing, and text editing all at once, it basically choked me. And not just that, I was also adding on taking freelance jobs to help boost the income. Now, this comes back to the during the pandemic. You see, coming back to what I said about being really, really hungry and taking on a huge bite, because sometimes it's that hunger that causes you to take a big bite. Well, with the pandemic, it slashed a huge portion of my income. I lost something like 90% of my business. that, coupled with my wife going on sick leave and getting a huge pay cut because she was going on government pay, which was a fraction of what she was making at work, that created a huge stress on our income level in our family. And so I reacted like a starving man presented with a large meal. I attempted to consume as much and as fast as possible. And trying to do this, I choked. So before I get into the solution here, we're going to go ahead and take a break here. This is a good breaking point. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're going to have to forgive me. I am working on making these transitions into our mid-episode break, which will start now. And welcome to the mid-podcast break, mid-episode break, whatever you want to call it. Again, this is a new thing for me. Never done this before, so do bear with until I get things smoother. Hopefully I'll be able to go find maybe a good little sting so you can hear a little music sting going out, come back in. We'll work on that. So again, I am an entrepreneur. So by nature, I jump off a cliff and I try to build a plane on the way down before I hit the ground. So here we go. So today we don't have any new 5-star reviews to read out on Apple Podcast. Now remember, if you do give me a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, I will read it out on the very next episode I get a chance to. So I've set this up now that I can record an entire episode, but not the break. And I can record the break near the end of the week, so I can add these in, hopefully on the next week. Maybe I miss it, maybe I don't. But that's what I'll do. I will also be reading out all the new Patreon members that join us on Patreon, and I will also be reading out all the top tier Patreon members, which is the Bootstrapper Entrepreneur tier. Now, for today, since I don't have anything new right now, because this is only the second weekend, so yeah, I get it. It's going to take a little while before things get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Patreon page and what the membership tiers are and what you get from that. Because I figured out if I'm going to put up a paywall, then you need to get something good out of it. So let's start off with the starting up tier, which is the Bootstrapper Community tier. This is because I want to build a community. This starts off $5 a month. You get 7 days as a free trial, which is pretty cool. You can try it out for 7 days. And then for that, you get ad-free episodes, early access to all my episodes. So anything I record, immediately after I record it and edit it, it will go up on the Patreon page, so you can access it. All my blog posts are going up on there. You can go see those before they go live. So you get early access, you get ad-free access. I am working on getting my my ads going on. I'm trying to set up some sponsorships right now. So going forward, I will be having ad reads, and if you sign up, you will get ad-free content on the Patreon. Again, bear with me, I'm kind of new at this. And then, of course, I call this the community because you are able to jump on to our Discord server with this one. This is $5 a month. You get to jump on the Discord server. You get 7 days free. So you can jump on the Discord server for 7 days. You can ask me a question. You can, as we build up, we're going to have lots of entrepreneurs and bootstrappers and business people and leaders join us so we can provide a community of support to help you do stuff. So that's the very basic and very inexpensive, only $5 a month, 7 days free. You can come in, you can chat with me, you can chat with Jason St. Clair, you can chat with different members of the community, and maybe get some help. Then the next level is the Bootstrapper Igniter. Yeah, maybe I'll rename that. But the next tier is $25 a month. Okay. Same as last time, early access. You get the member-only content because on that member-only content, I will be adding up some blog drafts, some different. For example, I'm going to be tossing up some of the contracts I've written, some of my hiring questions I ask, my hiring procedures I do, all that stuff. I'm going to be eventually adding that up on the Discord as well. So you're going to get a lot of extra stuff. Not Discord, Patreon. Sorry. Then you're going to be able to be on, of course, the Discord server as well. And you'll also be able to vote in polls and help shape the direction of the content. Now, also, if you do $25 a month or more, you may be able to become a guest on the podcast. It's kind of a filter system, so I want to know that you're serious and I get to know you a little bit before you come on the podcast as a guest. I want to make sure kind of filter out. So, there's some people that might try to get on the podcast and go crazy, do some political stuff or who knows what. I just want to get to know you before you come on the podcast. Then, of course, the last one, which is the Bootstrapper Entrepreneur level, that's $50 a month. Now, this one has all the stuff. All the digital downloads, Discord server, all that good stuff. But then, you'll also get a one-on-one call with me. And I've got 2 different services which you can have access to on this level. The first service is the Finding Your Value service. Now, this service is if you want to become an entrepreneur, but you're really struggling to identify your skills and your knowledge and what you can do. You want to do something, but you're not quite sure what it is that you can do to become an entrepreneur. You want to do something, but you're not sure. So, me and Jason will be working with you at this level, primarily me, to help you find the... Oh my goodness, I keep hitting this mic. We're going to help you find what skills that you have that have a marketable value. Okay. This is going to be a little bit different than like the college work placement test or the high school work placement thing, which I've personally done and failed me miserably. We want to try to get to know you. So what we'll do, you set up this, you ask for the service. I have a questionnaire I developed, send it to you, you fill it out. Once you fill it out, I'll look it up, and we'll schedule one of 2 calls. The first call, we're going to get into the questionnaire, and I'll ask you questions about the questions and get to know you better. And after I get to know you, go through the questionnaire, and we talk a little bit, I'll go over it, I'll look into different things, and about a week later, I'll have another call, and then make suggestions on what you can do to become an entrepreneur. Okay? And in a nutshell, we will help you uncover your true calling based on a full understanding of who you are beyond just your skill set. So I'm not going to go, oh, look, you're good at computers. Maybe you should just go be a computer guy. No, I'll look at it and go, oh, look, you're good at computers, but you also like this and this and this and this and this, and this is who you are. So maybe this thing will work for you and your computer skills will help. Say you like to skateboard, for just an example, but you're good at computers. Well, maybe you use computers to help you design a new skateboard product for the skateboard industry. You never know. So that's what that is. And then I have my Business Boost service. Now, in this one, you already have a business. You're an entrepreneur. You've started a business, and you might be struggling. You're struggling with something like accounting. You're trying to get it to grow. You don't know how to market it. You're having a little bit of a struggle. This is a service for you. You will join me and Jason St. Clair on that one, and we'll evaluate your business. So first we'll do a one-on-one call. We'll get to know you. We'll talk about your business. You'll send us your website information, your social media presence. You can tell us your marketing plans if you have a business plan, and we're going to go ahead and look at that. And then I didn't put it up here, but after we talk about it and go through it and look at it, we will go ahead and provide suggestions on how you can do things. For example, hey, you've got social media presence, great. Do you have a website? No. Well, let's get you a website so you look more professional. Or you have a website, you don't have social media, or you have social media, but you don't use it, or whatever it is that needs help with. Or, hey, you're struggling with accounting? Let's look at that. Okay, maybe you should get an accountant, or we'll help you out. We'll just kind of point you in the right direction. And for $50, that's pretty good. I've seen things like this go for like a couple $100 plus to do it. And of course, in this level, this is all under the bootstrapper entrepreneur level. You get these included in that. Okay, this is services that are added in to this level. You just do this level, $50 a month, and you get these services automatically. You also get all the other things, member shout out, and of course, get a chance at becoming a guest on the podcast. Okay, everyone, that about wraps it up for the mid-session break here. I will, going forward, hopefully try to make this translation a bit smoother. So let's end this now, and we'll go into the conclusion of biting off more than you can chew. Okay, so we're back in the last part of here, and let's look at the solution. As I kind of alluded to before, quite honestly, the solution to biting off more than you can chew is take smaller bites. Yeah, easier said than done, I'm sure. But as you can say, as Mr. Monk always said, it's a blessing and a curse to have an entrepreneurial spirit. On the positive side, an entrepreneurial spirit often brings creativity, innovation, and a drive to explore new possibilities. It's this very spirit that fuels the constant desire to grow and improve and expand. And it's a great foundation for your growth personally and in your business in the long run. However, on the downside, this same entrepreneurial energy is what led me to make the mistake of attempting to introduce new ideas to enhance my business and balloons without solidifying one section, and also in, of course, my content creation. Took on way too much. Even in my balloon business, I would see something and come up with an idea of some new design I could create, and spent like a week creating a new design, trying to come up with a new way to do something with the balloons that no one's ever done before, and failed to doing marketing, failed to doing sales, and never made any money off of this design. Never got to use it ever for an actual customer because I didn't focus on getting the customers in first before making the design, even though I had some pretty basic designs that could drive customers and growth, and then have this design as a backup to offer once I got going. Yeah, I kind of got myself way distracted by that. Easy thing to do. Now, then of course, as I mentioned before, when you feel panic, you can get that can really exacerbate. I cannot pronounce the word. Sorry, I live in Norway now. It can make the tendency worse. Okay, when you already have a tendency to come up with all these ideas and build things, when you get stressed, you can try to, again, back as I mentioned before, take on too much all at once because you're hungry and you need to make money now, and so you spread yourself out way too thin, and it doesn't work so well. Like Bilbo says in Lord of the Rings, I feel myself spread out thin like butter spread over too little butter spread over toast. Yeah, that's how I felt, quite honestly. And it wasn't the one ring, it was just biting off way too much than I could chew. Now, how do you get through this? How do you take small bites? Now, if you feel overwhelmed and stretched too thin, take a moment to pause. Take a break. Breathe. Take a look at your current situation. Go fishing. Literally, go fishing. Take a walk. Go for a hike. When you're feeling stressed, leave the situation you're in. Go out, take a break, and get some distance. And look at your situation. And perhaps you go, oh, well, it's not as bad as I think. I was just stressing out, freaking out. Okay, I'm good. Now, if it still persists, that you really don't know what's going on, you're really stressed, you've taken a few days, you've taken a break, then you might want to go ahead and get a hold of a friend, a mentor, your spouse, or go on a business group on Facebook or on Discord, or talk to somebody. Sometimes you just need an unbiased external perspective to look at what's going on and provide some insights. And another thing is, you can look at it, your work, and you can have your friend look at your work and go, hey, what's going on that is draining my energy without actually contributing to productivity? What else can I do? Am I doing something dumb? Like with me, I spent like 2 weeks coming up with a way to apply glitter to the outside of a balloon perfectly, and I never used it, never got a customer interested in it, never made a video on it, never did anything. I spent like a week or two and focused on doing this whole glitter balloon on the outside balloon thing. For no apparent reason, I was wasting my time, energy, and resources on this. And it didn't work. Now, of course, as a reminder, at the time of me creating this podcast and writing this out, I have now established the Discord server and a Facebook group where you can connect with me and other like-minded individuals for support. Now, the Discord server comes with $5 a month fee. But because I know sometimes you might be stressed out, the first week is free, okay? The first 7 days, free. You can go on there, send me a message, say, hey, help, I'm stressed. You don't, no commitment, 7 days free. And we'll talk. And if you're really stressed and you just don't have the $5 a month and you go ahead and do this and you talk to me, I might let you in so you can keep in touch. If you really need the help, I want to help you, okay? The $5 a month, of course I need it. If you can do it, great. That's awesome. But if not, go in there, sign up for the free week. Let's talk, let's communicate, let's chat, see if we can find some help. And if you can't afford the $5 a month, maybe I can just waive that and get you in. Because, I want to drive, of course, business through my podcast. I do need the monetization, of course. But I also care about people. I want people to be able to get help they need, okay? So if you need it, just go check it out, okay? If you have the money to, just sign up and jump on in, and we'll talk with it. We'll fix it. We'll help you, okay? That's my goal, to help people out. I just do need to have the money to, feed my family. Details. Now, on that, one thing we can help with is a comprehensive evaluation. Now, when you're doing this, you need to take a step back, and then after you get a breath, after you get some of the stress off, start evaluating what's going on in your life, in your business, everything, okay? And you need to, write this down. Write things down so you can look at it. It helps. You write it down, it's out of your head, you can look at it and evaluate it. Examine your business plan if you have one. If not, try to figure out your business model and write that down. This will help you get some good clarity on your situation. And it also helps getting input from others. You write down everything that you have, then it's very easy for you to email that to somebody, show it to a friend, say, hey, here's my business, here's my thoughts, what do you think? A lot easier to take a look at it, okay? And like I mentioned before, it's absolutely crucial to scrutinize the entire landscape. That means not just your business. It means your relationships, your kids, your wife, your husband, your spouse, whatever. For me, my wife and I, we noticed there was a challenge with our kids. We were struggling to get them to bed. They were always exhausted. They were always super tired. They were going to bed late, getting up late. They were always grumpy. It was a fight. They were not doing good in school. And we were like hyper stressed parents. And so we stopped, we took a break, and we looked at it, we talked about it a bit, and we realized, wait a second, no wonder they're exhausted. 4 days a week out of 5, they're doing something after school. They had swim lessons on 2 different, kids had 2 swim lessons on 2 different days, half an hour away, right after school. We had band, we had gymnastics, we had the scouts, we had something going on every single day of the week, except for one day for each kid, where they were not at home after school. They would go off and go do a whole bunch of crazy stuff and come home late and get to bed late. It was an overload, and it was just wearing out the entire family. So we had to stop and cut it down and go, okay, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. We had to cut out most of that stuff. And our kids are doing much better with it. So like I said, you have to look at everything, because all that stuff also hurt my business. Because I would be so focused on dealing with the kids, I didn't have any extra time in the evening. I'd get to bed late because they got to bed late, which means I would get up late myself. I would have no energy to work. It all is part of the system. You got to look at everything else, okay? And then, like I said, cutting back on stuff, you can look at your commitments. You can cut back on different commitments. You can cut back on different useless jobs that you're doing. You can do other things. Now, you do need to optimize stuff, but you have to be careful about it because you don't want to cut out the wrong things or too many things. Now, as an example, way back 125 years ago, when Windows was first invented and we didn't have internet, we still had computers with bloatware. If you don't know what bloatware is, it's when you buy a brand new computer and they cram it full of useless programs that you're going to have to pay to use in full anyway onto your computer to try to get you to spend more money. They slow down the computer, they take up memory, they take up hard drive space. Not nice. So my grandma was like 17, 18 years old. She bought a new computer and it was moving super slow because, oh my goodness, they had some like 70 different games on there, most of which would work for like 5 minutes and then stop until you paid for them. It really overloaded the system. Again, this is Windows 3.0 or 3.1. I can't remember. 3.11. Yeah, I'm ancient. I remember working with DOS. So I went in there and deleted all these different bloatware things. Delete this one. This one's an ad. This one's this. You don't need this. You don't need this. And I went through and I spent a good couple of hours cleaning everything else out. Then I left. And a couple of days later, my grandma called my mom and said, I don't know what he did, but he broke my computer. It's not working. I didn't break her computer. She said, yeah, but, I just did what you did, and now it's not working. What she did was she went in and decided that if she didn't recognize the program for something that needed to be done, she would remove it and delete it like I did. Problem is, this is before they had security locking out system files, and she went through the Windows folder and deleted key program files off the computer that made the computer work at all, and we had to completely reinstall everything because she really tried to help, but she didn't know what she was doing. Now, this seems random, but it really does apply to your business and your family, where you might get a little bit act crazy and try to cut out way too much. You do need to cut out some stuff. more than likely if you're getting stressed. But you have to make sure that it's the right thing, that you cut out and not go too much. For me, in my content creating, if I just remove the video content and cut it down, then I probably would have not lost 2 years because I would have not been as stressed trying to do video as well as audio. Okay? And sure, I can still do some video content, and I'm going to. I'm going to be adding in some live streams. I'm going to be adding in interviews, but I'm not going to be doing it consistently. It's going to be a bonus, as it were, to the podcast. It's not going to be a main part of it. Maybe later down the road when I have enough money to do the next part, when all I have to do is create the content and I don't have to do any of the editing, I might do that again. Which is another strategic move, is perhaps you need to hire help. Look at your budget, and if you can find areas where you can spend some money to take the load off, that'd be great. Again, right now, my budget for content creation is very limited. Eventually, I would love to hire an audio tech. I would love to hire an editor to just take my raw ramblings on, take it and edit it and put it together and post it for me. That'd be great. Someone do that with video content. Somebody could edit my videos for me. That would be awesome. Takes money. Don't have the money, can't do it. But if you do have the money, you can do stuff like that. One of the big things in most businesses that everyone needs is areas such as accounting, marketing, and sales. These are 3 areas where it might not be your strong suit. Matter of fact, a lot of people will find themselves struggling with accounting, marketing, and sales. They're kind of specialized areas. And when you first start up, you do it. You have to do it because you don't have any money, so you can't hire an accountant, you can't hire a marketing firm, and you can't hire salespeople. But as you can, you need to start looking and going, okay, if I can get an accountant, then I don't have to stress about doing my taxes and counting every day. That takes too much time and effort and energy. It drains me. I'll get an accountant. Then maybe I'm not doing great on marketing. I'll hire a guy to do my marketing for me. And look, wow, now my business is booming because now someone's doing my marketing. Great. And sales, same thing. If you can get some help, if you can hire some help, that will really help with the stress. Now, if you don't got the money, well, guess what? We now live in the 21st century. We've got some really cool tech. Okay, we can now do things with tech to help take some of the energy off. Now, as I mentioned before, you can automate things. You can use AI to help. And while I'm going to jump into a full-on deep dive into AI, you can leverage AI and these other modern tools to reduce the burden. Now, for example, this podcast, I start with a rough draft. I start with a blog. I write out a blog as a rough draft. Then I take AI and use it to refine it, cleaning up the grammar and spelling, and maybe changing the readability, maybe changing the tone. I'll say, hey, can you rewrite this in more of a storyteller tone? And then I look at it and goes, okay, now you're sounding like like J.R.R. Tolkien describing Lord of the Rings. No, take it back and add just a slight storyteller tone to the story, or whatever. So I take it, run it through AI, just to clean it up, because I like it, until I can get to the part where I like it, make adjustments. Now, when I use AI, it does save me hours of work of reading through and then changing things, changing things, etc. But it also presents a more polished product than I can do by myself. I'm good at ideas, but not always good at making it streamlined. Okay? So if you are able to combine delegating the job, hiring somebody to do something, using tools like AI to help out, and getting things set, that will help. Now, in closing, with my entrepreneurial journey, being a bootstrapper, this has shown me that there are some big risks on trying to take on too much at once. The challenges that I faced during the pandemic made it very clear that trying to run everything all by myself simultaneously led to stress and burnout. The key takeaway is to focus on one task at a time, seek help strategically, and establish a balance for sustainable success. Now, again, remember, if you do need help and you feel overwhelmed, you can join our private Discord server through Patreon for free for 7 days, and after that, it's only $5 a month. Come over, join us on Patreon, talk to me, chat with me, and I'll do what I can. Can't promise the world, but I will do what I can. And I'll talk to you next time. Your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. If today's episode added value to your day, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and consider giving us a stellar 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or more. And remember, if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, I will personally read it out in the next episode. To support the show, you can make a one-time gift by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap, donate through PayPal at paypal.me/IOCPOD, or make a contribution on our Patreon page at patreon.com/IOCPOD. Your support keeps the episodes coming. For even more content and exclusive perks, join our Patreon community at patreon.com/IOCPod. Patrons enjoy ad-free episodes, access to our private Discord server, early content previews, and a lot more. And here's an exciting offer. Get your free trial of our $5 a month Bootstrapper Community Explorer tier. This exclusive tier grants you ad-free content, Discord server access, and early content previews. Join us and be part of the inner circle. If you're feeling more generous, those who join tiers $25 a month and up will have a chance to be a featured guest on this podcast. A massive thank you to Wintergotten for generously providing the incredible intro and outro music at no cost. We appreciate their support. Be sure to check out Wintergotten's amazing work on YouTube at youtube.com/@Wintergotten. Until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor, signing off. This is the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, brought to you by Athos Business Solutions. For our companion podcast, the Athos Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, along with past episodes and related blogs, visit our website at athos.com. That's ATHEOZ.com or theoz.com. Goodbye for now.